And welcome, family, to Metaphysics on Your Mind. Figured we would pick up where we left off in the last video. That was Revelation 5. So this is the second part of Revelation 5. Remember, we're going through this particular chapter. We're going through it, and again, it'll be interesting to see as we each go into the theater of our minds, right? Our mind's eye, our mind, how we're picking up these verses. So let's just pick back up where we left off. It's not a very long chapter, but we left off at Revelation 5, 6, verse 6, I believe. So just to kind of recap, in the first 5-6 verses, we came across, these terms that it talked about the right hand of him, and we discussed that the right hand is always referring to the right hemisphere of the brain, which is the home of the spiritual side, which is why you have words like righteousness and divine right, words like that, because it's indicating we're talking about the east or the right side. Okay, we talked about the book. Again, my particular perspective, we're not talking about an actual book. We're talking about, in your DNA, you have alphabet letters, right? ACEG, which is in whatever combination creates the codes that creates you. So in effect, the book of life is the book that's within you, that we know of today as DNA. And the book written within and on the backside is referring, I propose, to the spinal column, which is basically adjacent to the energy centers called the chakras, or the churches, or the seals, so on and so forth, we talked about. And then the seals, which were sealed and couldn't be opened by any man, according to the verse, but the Lion of Judah prevails to loosen the seals. And we talked about the Lion of Judah symbolically is in the zodiac, Leo the lion. And remember, Christ was called the Lion of Judah from the root of David, the branch of David, and it symbolizes, of course, strength, right? Well, just to deviate a little bit, each of these signs, the sun goes through all 12 signs every day, correct? It's basically 2-hour intervals. 2 hours in Aries, 2 hours in Taurus, so on and so forth. So if the morning, with the rising of the sun in the east, sun always rises in the east, symbolizing the spiritual side, the sun being the Son of God, literally, as well as the figurative perception of it. This would be 6 a.m., say, where the sun rises. Roughly 6 a.m., so 6 to 8 is Aries, 8 to 10 a.m. is Taurus, 10 a.m. to noon is Gemini, noon to 2 o'clock is Cancer, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock is Leo. And anyone can tell you that the hottest part of the day, especially in the summer, is between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because the heat of the morning has, kind of merged in with the heat throughout the middle of the day, the noon, and basically Leo in this particular diagram is symbolizing when the sun is at its strength. And of course, we know that as the sun keeps going, it's going to set. So that's why the upper half of the zodiac is called the upper world, day, and the lower half is called the underworld, or night. We know that fall and winter fall down here, spring and summer are up here. So it's all very consistent. So the Lion of Judah, so the sun, or the spirit in its strength, Leo being a fire sign, symbolizing spirit, right? Then we saw that there was a lamb, and we saw the photo that I showed that the lamb, the ventricles are like horns of a lamb. Remember, Aries is the first sign, so the ram has been slain. The sun moving through, the hot sun, comes up through Aries. But in meditation, what's happening is you are symbolically dying, or the ego is dying, or the physical is dying, so that the spiritual can live, right? So you are symbolically killing off the physical during meditation for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you can do it. And through that symbolic death, right? Symbolic, you rise in consciousness, because now the fire of Aries has become the fire of Leo, so it's in strength. That's what prevails to open the seals that no one could open. And as we read on, we'll pick it up from there. Revelation 5:6. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, which we just discussed, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. So it's saying that the lamb has 7 spirits, 7 eyes, and 7 horns. That's all talking about the chakras. Remember, in biblical mysticism, horns represent power. Okay? 7 eyes, the 7 energy centers, the 7 spirits, the 7 churches. It's all referring to the same thing. This is what seals the backside. Those are the 7 seals. Okay? Let's read on. And then it said that, and he came and he took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. So the book is taken out of the right hand. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. Now the operative words here, the 4 beasts. So remember when we talked about the fixed signs of the zodiac, which 4 were they? We know, again, if you know some astrology or about the zodiac, the fixed signs, as opposed to the the mutable and cardinal signs, the fixed signs are Taurus the bull, Leo the lion, Scorpio the scorpion, and Aquarius the water bearer. So those are the beasts of Revelation, the fixed signs, the 4 fixed signs, the 4 posts basically of the zodiac. Okay, so this thing is referencing those 4 beasts, and then it says the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. Okay, well, again, you have to look at the nuances of the words, but when you say 4 and 20, you're talking about 24, right? 4 and 20 elders is 24. How many hours are there in a day? So in other words, when you go deep into meditation and the lamb is slain, or the sacrifice of the ego, or whatever you want to call it, the physical, and the sacrifice of that causes the rise of the Lion of tribe of Judah, the sun in its strength, in the afternoon of the day. Well, 24 is basically saying, hey, when you go deep into meditation, this represents time, the hours of the day. They are the elders. When it says elder, what does elder connote? Someone who's older. It's referencing time. And it says that these elders fell over. So in other words, when you're in meditation, time stops. Time becomes of no importance. Linear time that we have when we're in our regular life doesn't apply. Time is no longer a factor. So the 24 hours or the 4 and 20 elders kneel down at the Lamb, meaning you in meditation, okay? When you make that sacrifice, when you separate from thought, the 4 and 20 elders are no longer the effect that you have in regular life. Okay, you're moving into another dimension, for lack of a better word. Let's read on. And they sang a new song, saying, "Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain." The Lamb was slain. You slay the ego for a time, the physical, for a time. Okay? But that's the requirement. And so, let's see and has redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred. And again, blood is symbolic. If you slay a lamb, if you slay a bull, if you slay a goat, blood means, obviously there was a slaying, but it's symbolic. Okay? This is the physical body that we talked about. From head to toe. The physical. And let's finish it up here. This is Revelation 5:10, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Okay? And we're going to stop there. Now, when it says kings and priests, what's that reference to? Well, the left hemisphere of the brain, okay, the rational, which we know from Genesis was given the power to make decisions, whereas, the superpower of the right side, the subconscious mind, the feminine side, is subject to the left side, So the king is on the left. On the right, where the spiritual side is, where the east is, where righteousness prevails, is the priest. Because the priest is the I don't want to say intermediary, but is the intercessor from the spiritual instructions that we get from the right side, the right hemisphere of the brain, comes to us remember we talked about the as if you were a priest, and the priest, the right side, then ministers to the left side, the king. So when it says king and a priest, we are all king or queen and priest. Okay? That's what it's trying to convey to us, is that when you ascend and you activate the priestly side, it can then counsel the king, the one that's given the ability to make the decisions, right? The responsibility. Okay? That's where all of that symbolism comes from. And you've heard of the divine right of kings? Well, again, if the left side is the king, the divine right side, okay, that's the birthright, the birthright side, that's where your instructions come from if you're a wise king. So a wise king receives the counsel of the priest that's connected to the divine. And that's in all of us. So anyway, that's Revelation 5. Again, interesting how when everyone reads it, how it plays out in the theater in here. But for me, that's how it plays out. Once again, thank you so much. And we do appreciate your support and for people checking us out. Thank you.